So as it turns out, I was the last DOE manager of the Hanford Site when the site's primary mission was the production of plutonium. And subsequently, I was also the first DOE manager of the Hanford Site when our sole mission was the cleanup of the Hanford Site. And probably one of the most memorable episodes was after the Chernobyl explosion, because several days after the explosion of that reactor, no one could go to Ukraine. Everyone was trying to find out what was wrong. But what people did know was that the Chernobyl reactor didn't have a containment dome like commercial power reactors, and it was moderated by graphite. Well, lo and behold, the N Reactor on the Hanford site also didn't have a containment dome and was a graphite reactor. So the obvious place to go, since you couldn't go to Ukraine and to Chernobyl, we had virtually every major newspaper, every network, every wire service in the country come into the federal building wanting to go out and see the N Reactor. And when I informed headquarters of this, they said, you can't talk to them. And I was able to implore them and said, look, we have to do this, otherwise they're going to write stories that will be based on fiction, not fact. Fortunately, they did allow us to do that. And of course, when we could show them 3-foot thick concrete walls for the reactor, they got a much, much different impression, and that the key feature which did cause the Chernobyl accident just did not exist in N Reactor. During that period of time, it was determined that we had all the plutonium we needed. Our production mission went away, and that's when we had to really focus on cleanup, leading to the tri-party agreement with the State of Washington Environmental Protection Agency, which we signed on May 15th, 1989. I learned very, very quickly that secrecy led to a lack of credibility which had to be overcome. The only way you can operate a facility like this is by being as open as you can, and we weren't. And we really had to change that. And I'm proud of the fact that of all the DOE sites, Hanford was the very first site to take that on, to declassify environmental documents going back to the beginning of the site. We had an excellent record. We were collecting environmental sampling data from the Columbia River, from the ground and the air, back from the very, very first days of the site. And the downwinders actually said, well, we appreciate what you're doing now and trying to do, but we don't know anything about the past. And I said, we can correct that. We can go back and declassify it. And so we did that. But once you've got that fear of, we don't know what happened, you're not telling us things, you have to work on it every day to break that cycle.